Hello everyone, it's Andy Glenn here from Sharks TV, welcoming you all to another podcast. And it's a signing podcast, and it's only Jordan Marr. Jordan, nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, Andy. I'm happy to be back.
Congratulations on signing another year with the Sharks.
Thank you.
Was there any doubt in your mind that you would be signing another year?
No, none at all. I think from probably January in the past this year, we usually when I sign back with teams, and as soon as January hit, I was speaking to JT, Spud, and looking to get some signed.
Well, it'll be great news to all Sharks fans because you've made an impact. You made a big hit with the fans, a big hit with the team, and it's not been a terrible year, but it's maybe not what we would have hoped for in the past.
Absolutely no, what would hope for. Obviously, I think one of the reasons that I was happy to have the opportunity to come back was just the organisation really professional. I think might sound like a small thing, but obviously the cafe, the bar, the fans have been so welcoming. The facility itself, great locker rooms. Unfortunately, we weren't able to achieve our goal in making the playoffs, and that is really disappointing. But I think obviously there was definitely some positives for the season.
Yeah, I mean you've highlighted the organisation, you've highlighted the rink and such. What does it mean to you to be a Shark? What does it feel like?
It's probably changed over since we did this interview last year.
Yep.
I think obviously you have expectations of people in the organisation can say X, Y, Z, but I think until you've kind of lived it and you see what being a part of the Solway Sharks actually means. Like I think with the local guys that have been here for a long time, they do play with a lot of pride. The guys for Solway, the guys that are maybe for elsewhere in Scotland, what it means. And I think I guess the best explanation is you see when we were eliminated for playoffs, what it meant that we weren't able to achieve our main goal probably for the season. I mean, how much it means to guys, obviously JT and Spud and all the other backroom staff, how much it meant to achieve our goals, and it kind of shows you how much the club means to the players and everybody else involved.
It certainly does mean a lot to a lot of players and fans, and the fans demand 100% every week from the players. But that's not different to any other club. If there's any players that are, in contract talks just now, what would you say to them if they were thinking about joining the Sharks?
Have an open mind about being in Scotland. I think obviously the majority of the players, or at least British players, are based down south. There's down south Midlands, up north. But I think it's obviously I'm Scottish, so I'm obviously a bit biased. But Dumfries, Saskatown, the surrounding area is gorgeous. I mean, there's plenty to do whether you're a young guy or an old fart like me. But have an open mind. Obviously, we've got a great coaching staff. I mean, Spud's been involved with the Sharks for a long time. He's been involved with the GB setup for a long time, and I think he has proven over the years that, especially if you're a young guy, he can develop you and take your game to the next level. Just for example, you look at Stents, his first year as captain, took huge steps. Kell, Bailey, Torrin, Kyle, like all the guys that are under 23, under 25 came on leaps and bounds this year, and I think a lot of that has to do with environment. Spud's not afraid to give young guys a chance, and even if they fail, if they don't succeed originally, they get opportunities as long as they're willing to put the work in and keep going at it.
What's been the highlight of your first season with the Sharks?
On the ice, I think actually, to be fair, it was a game that I never played. Was when we beat MK in overtime. I think I'd played the night before and we'd lost, and this was a point maybe where it was like we'd kind of started building momentum, and MK finished where they finished for a reason. They're a really talented team, and I think the fact that you could be down, you could be tired coming back for MK quite. I don't know what time we got back at, but I thought Callum went in and played amazing, and to see that lift, they beaten a top team for the last couple of years. It's always kind of fought with Leeds for that title. To beat them was huge. Personally, I think one game, I think the game in Romford, where we were kind of up against it. Kell scored late and they scored the OT winner, but I think that was a game where maybe we travelled a bit shorter. And the fact that we were able to actually just band together and get a win, and tough to play, place to play in Romford. That's probably an individual game highlight, but the biggest thing for me is probably just having Cameron well enough to come to so many games and to have him on the ice after the game, win or lose, but especially after the wins. That was massive for me, and for Valine to be there and people to be so welcome to my family was massive.
Yeah, Cameron's your young son for people who don't know, and clearly his favourite place is the Shark Tank because he's a happy laddie when he's here, isn't he?
Yeah, he loves it. It's mental at such a young age. I mean, the next couple of years, I'd imagine he'd probably want to suit up for the Sharks. But yeah, seeing him run around with his hockey stick or coming to the snow tot sessions on a Friday, we absolutely love it.
Or on the ice with you after a win.
Yeah, he's usually not that interested in me. He's usually trying to take somebody else's stick or go and see Finn.
Well, I'm not going to ask you what the downside. Well, I'm going to ask you what was the best bit. I'm not going to ask you the downside because that was clearly no one in the Christmas quiz because that was just a shocking performance.
I don't know if we officially decide that me here doing John's team won. Did that?
There was demands for recounts and all the rest of it, but Kel, Younger and Mason clearly were the winners that night.
Most improved team, definitely.
Most improved. It's certainly most improved. But I mean, that's some of the fun that we've had around the Shark Tank this season. Going to be a long summer though, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. I mean, is the disappointing part is I think we had the belief in the dressing room. There was definitely spells where it looked like we actually were playing well enough and getting the right results that we could have maybe climbed higher up in the table. But I think ultimately stringy, tough away games and maybe games squeaking away from us at home. I mean, if you look at it, Telford deserved it because I mean they did what they had to do to get the points to qualify, and we put ourselves in a position where we got to the second last game of the year, and unfortunately we weren't able to make it. But that's on. It's on us to reflect on individually and collectively, and the new guys that have all probably come in, and everybody really involved, backroom staff, all that. Close, but no cigar. It is disappointing. I think it's maybe the first time I've played at the second tier in the UK where I've not made playoffs with the team. So longer summer to reflect and kind of prepare myself for next season. Well,
our goal is clearly to make the playoffs and then some if we can.
Absolutely. I mean, that was kind of the intention this year, but again, just a hair short.
Well, it'll be good news for all Sharks fans that you've signed for another season. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to speak to me this afternoon. But before you go, a message to the Sharks fans and the Jordan Marr fans that are watching the podcast.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Sharks fans, for all your support over the past season. Myself and all the guys that are here next year will be very, very determined to make sure that come April next year that we're playing and making a challenge in the playoffs and towards Coventry.
Well, thanks, Jordan, and thanks to everyone who watched at home. This is Andy Glenn saying cheerio.